All right, everybody, welcome to the show that matters most, Radical Money, with your host, Michael Garza. Look, my thing is, I've been noticing a lot of this is the reverse stock split episode. First off, I want to talk about the two reverse stock splits I cannot believe I called. I'll tell you what I called. So what I did was I called Aurora Cannabis and I called the reverse stock split of Chesapeake Energy. Now, I had already owned a few shares in Aurora Cannabis, but with the way they were going and the way they were spending cash and the cash burn, I felt investors were going to panic. So, in turn, what I did was I didn't sell anything. I bought a bunch of contracts that were slightly below the actual strike price, relatively low. And I didn't know what the chances of it were going to hit. I was afraid the options were going to expire worthless. So I tried to keep it as close to the strike price as possible. But in this instance, I did call it. I figured they were going to be below the dollar threshold for too long. I agree there's sign for optimism with Aurora Cannabis. They are, in my opinion, one of the better companies, overall. They are a solid company. They're not a bad one. Do I feel like they have... I think they grew a little too fast. In the industry they're in, they have to grow with the laws. It's marijuana based, so you have to grow with the laws. You have to grow with everything. It's tough. It's a tough biz. It really is. So I wanted to go over, I have my handy dandy tablet. So I'm looking over, and I'm looking at Aurora Cannabis is sitting at 75 cents per share. I had called this actually a while ago by, I had purchased $5 $1 puts. I had purchased one $1 put. I actually had a few $2 ones previously that I sold off when I got too close to the expiration date. I'm kind of one of those guys that just likes to hold on to them as long as he can. I mean, I only do this for companies that I have my rules for being pessimistic on a company, all right? My two rules are this. One, I already own it, but I'm a little shaken by what's been going on. I don't want to get rid of them, though, because I'm still pretty long, and I think they'll pull out of it eventually. So I'm going to hold on to those shares infinitely. Just hold on to them. Never going to sell them. Because I do like the company. Aurora is a great example of a company I love dearly. By the way, they are a company I love dearly. They are near and dear to my heart. I love the marijuana industry, and I think it's doing good things. Do I think it'll explode eventually? Probably. And if it doesn't, let's say this reverse stock split ends up being pretty negative, which it usually is for a company. And I'm not very pessimistic, though. I'm pretty optimistic about investor pessimism, though. I'm always optimistic about investor pessimism because I know it's always up and abound. I really do. Sometimes there's just no way to prevent that investor pessimism. There's no way. So what you do in instances like this is you take the time to look at what's going on, and Aurora is not looking like it's going in a good position. Now, what I've been doing, though, I've been periodically buying stock for Aurora. My methodology, though, is I only buy stock. I don't do calls. I'm thoroughly against calls. I only buy the stock, right? Now, I'll always do a put on something I own to protect it. It's like fire insurance for your house on steroids. So it's a really good idea to always have a protective put just in case the markets fall. And with everything that's been going on, coronavirus, all this shit, the puts I have are gold. I have currently, let's see, how many contracts do I got? About 47 put contracts. And these were all, I kind of called these well beforehand. So when the reverse stock split happens, if things go haywire, right, let's say if all of them fall below strike price, which my 50-cent ones are going to get to, I bought those ahead of time just in case. I buy the 50-cent ones as absolute buffers, by the way, just to really keep my position held. I don't know if it'll fall below strike price, to be honest, for those 50-cent ones. I am actually keeping them as a pure. This is a power play. This is to keep a pure safeguard on what I already hold. And I'll tell you what, if this reverse stock split, when it does happen in like around May, investors are going to panic, man. This is an opportunity to sell, to make it sell lower. So it's just an opportunity. So when I see, I've actually, you know what I've been doing? I've been sniping certain contracts. So like some of the ones today, there have been ones that are out all the way to January 15th. And I saw it. And when I look at it, it went down today. It actually went down in the value. So I bought some more. I buy contracts like this during reverse stock split times because I don't trust investors to handle this very well. I've seen enough reverse stock splits that I never took advantage of, but I learned from them. There's a lot you can learn from a reverse stock split, by the way. The first thing you can learn is that investors usually panic. For how long do they panic? It's not entirely clear. There may be investors who they'll all just sell off, and this is stock splits and reverse stock splits are totally different things. Reverse stock split is totally the opposite. Basically, they're doing a 1 in 12, and what that is basically it's a 1 in 12 exchange. Let's say I have 12 shares. I hand in those 12 shares for 1. This actually gets rid of the dilution of shares. The total value, though, doesn't change, right? It doesn't change at all. It's still the same value, but because there's less of it, the price goes up in value. Here's the downfall of reverse stock split, though, that people don't always anticipate. This raises the opportunity for people to pile it lower, to make it go lower. So people don't realize this is just another way to make it go lower. And enough of Aurora. I just want to let you guys know I buy shares in them, and then when it's low, by the way, when it's tumbling down, I buy more shares, just a few. I'll never know when it goes back up. I'm trying to lower my average cost, by the way, my average share price. So my goal is to always, every day, lower my average share price. And if things are looking golden, by the way, or if people are selling off their put contracts that are a little longer out, I buy them because there are pennies on the dollar to get those put contracts. So put contracts are very valuable weapons, in my opinion, to protect yourself and your ass from anything that's potentially wrong. All right? So keep that in mind. Use your noggin. It's a good one. What else we got? Chesapeake Energy. So I'm a little disappointed in myself. I didn't realize they were going to do a 1 over 200 reverse stock split. So this is going to be crazy. It takes effect tomorrow, by the way. It's a 1 in 200 exchange reverse stock split. Now, this is crazy because my contract I have right this instant. I have one right now that says going to fall below 50 cents. It's already gone up. I actually got it. I don't know how much further it can really go up in value, but I'm going to hold on to it because it expires. It expires on October 16th of 2020. So this will be an interesting one. And as we view it, let's look at the analytics. I like showing the analytics. I want to see how easy it is to see here. Here are the majority of the analytics that we see. So Chesapeake Energy, it's, I don't know if I should show that just because it's not going to show up very well. The quality's not the best. I'll figure it out one of these days, or maybe I'll do some sort of split graphical. But in the meantime, considering this is a low budget show, my goal is to provide you inspiration always, but information and what to do with the information. So the reason I take about 30, and I'll tell you what my habits are. I think learning habits is more important. My habits every day are I study, before I go to work, I will study about 15 to 30 minutes worth of material I find from different analysts. I like to read up on it. The more you know, the more you understand, the more you get to have a feel for the deal. But I also like to make up my own mind by not even looking at news articles at all. I'll look at earnings. I will look at PE ratio. I will look at the news, though, because sometimes you have to figure out the news for a company. I also like to look for pending reverse stock splits, like it's going to happen sort of things. And what I'll do is I will buy shares in a company that just announced they're going to do a reverse stock split in the next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks, next month, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to make sure it's a long-term put. So I'm really big. I don't even, I hate to say it. I'm not pessimistic, but I am an opportunist in the markets. I am absolutely an opportunist in the markets, and I'll tell you why. So with Chesapeake Energy, I'm looking at it right now. This put's going to go off the roof. Like, this contract is just going to keep going lower. And the lower the stock goes, by the way, nuts. It's just nuts. That's all I got to say. So what do you do with this information? If you already own Aurora or Chesapeake Energy, do you panic sell? I mean, you could technically sell what you have already, whatever amount it is, and then wait until the reverse stock split happens and then gradually buy back some of your shares. That's one way to do it. Reverse stock splits, though, I have to say, can still be unpredictable. But the prediction the pattern I notice is investors panicking. That is a very common pattern. I see that all the time. They will panic during this time. So the best advice I can really give you at this point is to hold on to what you got. I mean, legitimately hold on to it. If you can, try... I don't know. I'm one of those guys that I just see patterns before they happen, and I do buy the things. So, I mean, whatever direction, here's the funny thing, whatever direction Aurora Cannabis chooses to go, I win. So, it's a little intimidating. Chesapeake Energy, whatever direction it goes, which is probably going to go down. I'm banking on it going down. I don't want to see... I never like seeing a company go down. I really, really don't. The writing is sometimes it's just on the wall. And when the writing is on the wall, you buy the contract and you just see what happens. That's all you do. So I bought the contract and took advantage of it. It's easier to spot a bad company than it is a good company. It really is. So take your ability to spot bad companies and do it. Just look for the bad ones, because the bad ones are really easy to find. In closing, in summary, Aurora Cannabis and Chesapeake Energy were definitely good grabs on my end, and I'm glad I called them. I'm glad I found them. I'm glad I thought to do what I did, and it'll be interesting though to lower the average cost. Here's another plus for me on this. The lower it goes, the more of an opportunity let's say it plummets. Let's say Aurora Cannabis plummets, right? This will give me a major opportunity to buy shares at a lower price than my actual average cost. So this will in turn give me the opportunity. This is kind of cool now that I think about it. This will in turn give me the opportunity to really drastically lower my current average cost of the stocks I already own for it. The shares I already own for it. So it'll fall well below the strike price for what I have currently. So, dude, you guys got to realize that I'm sweating just thinking about it. The 50-cent ones I own an abundance of those right now. I don't know if it'll tumble and fall, but like I said, when there are days that it's down, I buy a few more shares. Just to make sure that in the event it rallies, I will be in the clear. I will be totally A-okay. So, we'll see what happens though. Chances are, it'll probably tumble like most reverse stock splits happen. It's the way this way the cookie crumbles. I hate to say it. But Chesapeake Energy, though, oh my God, I cannot wait to see what the results are tomorrow. People are going to be selling off like crazy. That is my prediction. Like I said, I could be wrong. I'm no Nostradamus, but I do see patterns. When a reverse stock split happens, it's always the best time, or at least when it's announced. It's always the best time to get those puts before the storm. So get those puts a little bit out. 6 months ahead of time is what I recommend. 5 to 6 months is my usual recommendation. That's what I do. In fact, I'm not going to recommend anything. I'm just going to tell you what I do. Now, I don't know if it'll work for you. Look, I don't even know if it'll work for me. That's the point of investing. It's always a risk. But hey, the way I do it isn't even investing. It's a pattern. I'll have to show you guys in detail one of these days. But I want to thank you for taking the time to view this episode of Radical Money. I plan on putting out more 10, 5, 15-minute episodes. The time durations will always change. I just want to pump out content for you, the viewer, and I want to make it to where you're having a good time and learning like crazy. Have fun. Good night. As always, stay safe. And remember, subscribe below if you want. Look, I'm not going to beg you to subscribe. I just want you to get the knowledge that you need. Later, everybody.